guy. What do you thought of Hutchinson?
Oh, good player, very talented, high motor guy. He's got really good twitch, good strength at the point of attack. He's got some really good pass rush moves. So, it's going to be interesting to see how he progresses over the years and becomes one of the best, a good pass rusher in the league.
Is he one of those guys that you kind of have to game plan for, or is he just maybe not quite to that level yet?
No, he's definitely someone you got to be aware of. So, we always have that in our plan, just to be able to help or chip if we need be. But yeah, he's definitely a guy you gotta keep an eye on.
Line-wise, how challenging has it been for you to not know on Sunday who's going to be out there? You might have repped, like 2 weeks ago, you repped it all week long, and Sunday comes.
Yeah, it's been really challenging, definitely. Like I always say, you always try and plan for the, worst case scenario, I guess. But yeah, no, it's been a challenge. We've tried our best to make sure that we can get the best 5 guys out there. And, when those things happen on game day, you just got to rally. There's not much you can do about it. You just got to rally and be positive and make it work.
How have you thought that Zach has handled that next man up? I'm sure there was totally different spots.
Yeah, he's done a really good job. Obviously, 2 weeks ago playing left tackle, and then this week playing left guard. I think he's shown to be pretty versatile, and like we said 2 weeks ago, like the moment's not too big for him, so he'll go in there and he'll battle and do a good job.
Is it harder for him when he has to split reps in a practice versus like today? I'm assuming he played all left tackle, or maybe only gave him a few at left guard?
No, we work him. He's still kind of, again, being ready for all scenarios, basically. So.
Okay, so he never gets a practice where he's just focusing, unless he's starting.
Yeah, unless he's our starter. But yeah, we're just kind of planning for the different scenarios that could happen. So that's a question you'd have to ask Zach.
Steno, yesterday Aaron said, if we can get Elton and Dave together, if we can get 9 and 13 back and Cobb back in a couple weeks, I like that squad. If you do have it, what can you do with that group that maybe you haven't been able to do now?
I think it's just the consistency as the game progresses. You can kind of see there's certain breakdowns at points. You get down to the red zone, boom, penalty. Get down to the 30-yard line, MA. Just stuff like that where it's like you get things going and then something happens, a negative play, whatever it is. And when you typically have more veteran guys, those mistakes don't happen as often. So you can kind of damage control, if you will. And then also, it's just the different things you can do with your offense. Obviously, with players with less experience, you don't put as much on their plate. So, when you get guys that have been around, played in a lot of games, you can kind of open up the playbook a little bit more.
Aaron was telling us yesterday about how Samori earned the Captain Casual nickname during training camp, and how that's become a joke now since he's really improved in that regard in practice. Do you think his touchdown catch Sunday could maybe be a turning point into something he could help you guys with this second half?
With a rookie, I never really want to compliment him too much. You can always get burned with those guys. But I was encouraged by that. I was encouraged by that play. I've been encouraged by his practice habits for the last month or so. You can definitely see him learning how to become a professional. Does he have a long way to go? Absolutely. But I'm definitely encouraged by him and his performance the last few weeks for sure.
Along those lines, how much of a project is Ryan, and is he anywhere near getting a sniff at playing if a guy goes down?
Yeah, he's got a helmet on game day, so anyone who does, you better be ready and be prepared to be a starter. So yeah, he's a guy that's progressing every week as well. He's, again, learning how to become a professional, learning what it takes to be successful in this league, and he has a ways to go, yes, but I like how he's coming along.
Romeo seemed to have kind of a bounce-back performance Sunday after the last couple of weeks. Just What did you kind of see from him, the way he responded last week in practice after the no catch game against Washington?
Yeah, I think, again, just the not complimenting rookies and stuff, because things like that's going to happen. There's going to be inconsistencies. There's going to be ups and downs before these guys, have just been through a lot of football. But Romeo's always a guy that practices the right way. He's dialed in, and sometimes you have a bad game. You got to learn from it. I think he did, and whatever he needed to tweak in his preparation, you could definitely see it last week. With the big plays he made and his consistency. So, again, very encouraged by that performance. We just got to make sure we're as consistent as possible every time we go out there.
Did you think he attacked the ball a little bit better than he had in the past?
Well, one of his strengths is doing that. And, yeah, to your point, like anytime he's attacking the ball, that's one of his strengths. So when he's playing confidently, he does a really good job.
Steno, going back to the line thing for a second. So, was that a couple of Thursdays ago? I asked you how you go about instituting your newfangled offensive line. You said you decide on Tuesday and you rep it all week. Then you don't have Dave. Then a week later you don't have Steno. So as you stand there today on Thursday, I know you don't want to make excuses, but how freaking hard is it to just figure out what you're going to have from week to week, and how does that make it more difficult to find consistency as a whole offensively?
Yeah, we were just talking about this. The only consistency right now is inconsistency in who's going to be out there and where we're going to play our guys. So, I mean, it's tough. Like I just talked about, having guys, at certain spots to get certain experience, and just work together and just get the gelling and the meshing of the unit. That's always tough when you can't have that. So you just got to make sure you're coaching them, getting them prepared, and just again keeping it as simple as you can, so that guys can just go out there and play fast wherever they're playing at.
So I know some of last week's game plan was necessity, right? You lose Christian, you don't have Cobb, you don't have Lazard. I'm wondering in what ways what you did last week with running the football so much and so effectively can be paid forward into future balanced game plans. Like, I know Von Miller was apparently giving Rodgers grief for how much you guys were running the ball, but how many times have we asked you, why aren't you running the ball more? Why aren't you is there something that you unlocked, even if you had to play that way against the Bills, that you can use moving forward, or is that a foolish idea?
No, I mean, for me, I'm always a run first guy anyways. So it's anytime you ask me what play should we run, it's always going to be a run play. So that's my bias. But for me, it's like you said, you want to be as balanced as possible. And as you go into a game plan, you have your shots, you got your runs, you got your different plays, and as it goes, you're like, okay, what are we doing well? What aren't we doing well? Kind of how is this game progressing? And as you could see, like the run game was working. We were hitting them, and we just kept leaning on it. So that's kind of how that game went. I always go into a game ready to run for 250 yards. That's like my mindset every single time. So, it's just one of those things. Like as it goes, if it keeps working, we lose a couple receivers. Now, that's just got to be our main thing. But as you can see, we run the ball for however many yards, controlled the clock, but we still have to score points. You know what I mean? That's where we still need those explosive plays down the field. You still need to be good in the red zone, stuff like that, that I think we're missing. So, it's just being a holistic offense right now is what we just need to improve on.
So you and Rodgers are pretty tight. He talks about how much he likes you all the time. I'm guessing that when your mentality is you want to go into a game and run for 250 yards, I'm going to go out on a limb and say his game plan is not to run for 250 yards in his mind.
Yeah, I mean, I would say he, however he sees a defense or whatever, he's got his attack. I've got mine. It's kind of yin and yang, and you just kind of put it together, and hopefully it comes out well. But he's a competitor. He always wants the ball in his hands and making plays. So
And I get that. He's the four-time MVP. What I'm saying is there a chance that maybe what you guys were able to do, even if he had to have his arm twisted a little bit or circumstances had to demand it last week,
Yeah.
that it could have showed him, hey, all right, you're still the engine that runs this.
Yeah, I think he's pretty aware, you know, he knows how good our running backs are. He knows those guys are big-time playmakers when they get the ball in their hands, so he's not stupid. So, yeah, does he want to throw the ball, you know, 50 times a game? Probably, but he's not dumb. He knows if things are working, then we just got to keep going.